The current situation in Iceland is like in many other countries, that we do perceive the need. We know that we need coding skills, but how to introduce that into the educational system? Again, there is the question of how many teachers actually have the skills to teach this. How do you make sure that it can be done in all the schools, not only just in schools, for example, in the capital? And I would say that before we went into this program, obviously there were a lot of kids that knew how to program. But I think that now we have a realistic chance of actually penetrate much more deeply, get much more kids involved, kids that previously thought that there was no chance they were going to learn this. And I think that we also have gotten the parents more interested, because they can see that, I mean, just the fact that the kids come home from school with a device like this, and it just arouses interest. So I think that we are in a much better place than we were just 2 years ago. Well, one of the challenges we obviously had was that this happened a bit quickly. That is positive, but it has its challenges. And what I mean here is that nobody had heard about it in Iceland. I only heard about it just through a friend. So it had to be sold from scratch. And we were trying to do this quickly, because I firmly believe that when you have an opportunity like this, the best thing is to actually push for it as vigorously as you possibly can, in order to just try to get everybody enthusiastic and motivated, and thus being able to kind of make something happen. Now, one of the obstacles that I was worried about was teachers' preparation, that the teachers would not appreciate it fully, that they would be a bit wary about something being introduced into the school system without them kind of being the instigators, without them being involved from the very, very early beginning. So we tried to get them on board as quickly as we could, and we did not make this a mandatory thing, meaning that we didn't try to fit it into the national curriculum as an obligation on the teachers. What we said to the teachers community is, okay, here is this device, here is this opportunity. If you see a way to use it, if you find a way to use it, if you are interested, here it is. But there is no obligation, you don't have to do it. And by approaching it like this, it involves the danger of just things not working out as you expected. It's kind of, again, going bottom up. But it means also that you will be able to adapt. You will be able to learn from the way this is introduced and kind of change your strategy accordingly. So at the same time that this was probably the biggest challenge, it kind of got us into a mode which I think was very flexible and therefore quite successful. Obviously, a very important thing was to make sure that the teachers who wanted to use this could get good support. So the new Directory of Education put on their website immediately a lot of teaching material and material that could assist the teachers. We also we made an alliance with some of the tech companies that they would provide teachers with workshops and kind of assistance to help them or educate them or provide them with some material that they could use then as teachers. So by involving the companies themselves on this kind of grassroots level, and this is something that the companies themselves pay for as a volunteer job, we got up to almost 50% of the schools sending teachers into workshops run by those companies, which I think actually is quite a wonderful thing. It creates this community and this common purpose between industry and the school system in trying to solve this problem. Well, obviously it's very important that we find ways to engage students and the general public and educate them about the importance of programming. Now, the way we went about this was to enlist the services of the national broadcasting station in Iceland. And they were immediately from the onset very enthusiastic. And we got them on board almost just the day after I had been here for my first meetings here in London with the BBC. And I talked to the director there, and he was immediately sold on the idea. And they had just 1 year before launched a platform called the Children's Radio, where they would have a lot of children material explicitly on a certain platform that was easy for children to engage with. And so they were using that concept and this kind of new idea of television for children as a vehicle for the programming education. And I think that has been very, very successful. And what they have told me actually is that when they take some of the most popular programs they have on that platform, some of the Disney stuff they have there, whatever it is, actually what they have on computing now and programming is becoming more popular, more frequently visited than even the most popular programs. At the center of the idea was that to get the national broadcasting services engaged. And I think that actually they have done a wonderful job.